Another day, another story. The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene is a highly acclaimed book that explores the dynamics of power and how to acquire it, maintain it, and use it effectively. The book consists of 48 laws of power, each with its own chapter that provides examples of how the law has been used throughout history. These laws are meant to be used as a guidebook for individuals who seek to attain power, whether it be in business, politics, or personal relationships. Here are 25 paragraphs summarizing the main ideas of the book. Power is the ability to control people, resources, and events. Those who have it can shape the world to their liking, while those who lack it are at the mercy of others. Power is not necessarily a bad thing, but it can be abused if not used responsibly. Those who seek power should do so with a clear understanding of its potential consequences. The first law of power is to never outshine the master. This means that in any hierarchical relationship, one should always defer to their superior and never appear to be more capable or ambitious than them. The second law of power is to never put too much trust in friends, learn how to use enemies. This means that people can be unpredictable, and it's often safer to rely on one's enemies than one's friends. The third law of power is to conceal your intentions. This means that people should be careful not to reveal their true motives, as it can make them vulnerable to manipulation. The fourth law of power is to always say less than necessary. This means that people should be strategic about what they say and how much they reveal, as it can be used against them. The fifth law of power is to so much depend on reputation or goodwill. This means that people should not rely solely on their reputation to get what they want, as it can easily be tarnished. The sixth law of power is to court attention at all costs. This means that people should always try to stand out and make a name for themselves, as it can lead to greater opportunities. The seventh law of power is to get others to do the work for you, but always take the credit. This means that people should be strategic about delegating tasks and taking credit for their success. The eighth law of power is to make other people come to you, use bait if necessary. This means that people should be strategic about how they attract others to them, and use incentives if necessary. The ninth law of power is to win through your actions, never through argument. This means that people should be strategic about how they get what they want, and avoid getting into arguments or debates that can be counterproductive. The 10th law of power is to infection. Avoid the unhappy and unlucky. This means that people should avoid associating with those who are unhappy or unsuccessful, as it can bring them down. The 11th law of power is to learn to keep people dependent on you. This means that people should be strategic about how they provide value to others, and make sure that they are needed. The 12th law of power is to use selective honesty and generosity to disarm your victim. This means that people should be strategic about when and how they are honest and generous, as it can be used to gain the upper hand. The 13th law of power is to, when asking for help, appeal to people's self-interest. This means that people should be strategic about how they ask for help, and make sure that it is in the other person's best interest to help them. The 14th law of power is to pose as a friend, work as a spy. This means that people should be strategic about how they gather information, and sometimes it's necessary to pose as a friend or ally to do so. The 15th law of power is to crush your enemy totally. This means that people should be strategic about how they deal with their enemies, and make sure that they are completely defeated. The 16th law of power is to use absence to increase respect and honor. This means that people should be strategic about how often they are present and how often they are absent, as it can increase their perceived value. The 17th law of power is to keep others in suspended terror. Cultivate an air of unpredictability. This means that people should be strategic about how they present themselves, and create an air of unpredictability to keep others on edge. The 18th law of power is do not build fortresses to protect yourself. Isolation is dangerous. This means that people should not rely solely on their own strength to protect themselves, and should instead build alliances to increase their power and influence. The 19th law of power is to know who you're dealing with. Do not offend the wrong person. This means that people should be strategic about who they offend, as it can have severe consequences if they offend someone with a lot of power. The 20th law of power is to do not commit to anyone. This means that people should be careful about who they align themselves with, and avoid being too loyal to any one person or group. The 21st law of power is to play a sucker to catch a sucker. Seem dumber than your mark. This means that people should be strategic about how they present themselves, and sometimes it's necessary to appear less intelligent or capable than they really are. The 22nd law of power is to use the surrender tactic. Transform weakness into power. This means that people should be strategic about how they respond to challenges or setbacks, and use them as opportunities to gain the upper hand. The 23rd law of power is to concentrate your forces. This means that people should be strategic about where they focus their energy and resources, and avoid spreading themselves too thin. In conclusion, the 48 Laws of Power is a guidebook for individuals who seek to attain power, whether it be in business, politics, or personal relationships. The laws presented in the book are based on historical examples of successful power plays, and provide insights into the dynamics of power and how to use it effectively. However, it's important to note that the book has been criticized for its emphasis on manipulation and deception, and some of the laws presented may not be ethical or moral. As such, readers should approach the book with a critical mindset and use its teachings responsibly. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more story.